there was talk coming into the draft that it wasn't necessarily a very exciting quarterback class. But regardless, when that happens, teams start to feel a little nervous, some anxiety. Are we going to pass up a guy that could change the franchise for us? And they maybe become impulsive and reach for a guy higher than they need to. Not this time, right? One quarterback goes. Kenny Pickett to the Pittsburgh Steelers, your old stomping grounds, one of my teams growing up. What do you think about that pick? And what do you expect from Kenny Pickett in Pittsburgh?
Yeah, I'm excited for him. We always talk about it's not about when you go, but where you go. And the thing I loved about the first round was what you pointed out. Like, teams didn't feel like they had to reach and pick, and we see it every year. Even teams like Carolina that are trying to find their next quarterback, Atlanta, Seattle, they did not kind of panic early on in the draft. The draft they let it fall where it may, and it was good to see. Even the Carolina Panthers, I was excited about their move. That Ike Ekwonu from NC State, the dude's a beast. I mean, he just plays with that tenacity that you need up front on the offensive line, and that changes the demeanor up front with the other four guys. So I think that's a game changer for them. So they didn't panic. They didn't reach for a quarterback, even if they love Pickett or Malik Willis. And then the Steelers, it's typical Steeler fashion. They just sit patient. They never panic. And they let the draft just come to them, and Kenny Pickett ends up falling right to them. We heard Tomlin a week or so ago talk about one of the top characteristics of a quarterback is being an ultimate competitor, and that to me is what Kenny Pickett is. He's a football player. He's a winner. It doesn't always have to be pretty, but I think he finds a way, and Pittsburgh's used to having a guy behind center like that in Big Ben, and I think this is a perfect pick for Pickett and also the Steelers.
Yeah, I don't think people realize how big he is, right? 6'3", 217 pounds. I mean, he's a lot bigger than a lot of people think, and they focused on the hand size and everything like that. And this is, I really loved it as a lifelong Pittsburgh Steelers fan. I know what kind of program it is. You were lucky enough to play for them, and I think this is a great fit. The way I likened this to, and Chris Brockman here and I were talking about it before the show, I liken this to what the San Diego Chargers did when they had Drew Brees on the roster, right? They had a guy, and when his contract was up, where Mitchell Trubisky will be a year or two from now, Phillip Rivers stepped in, and maybe Kenny can do the same. That's what I think would be the best of all worlds for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they were able to get success out of Mitchell Trubisky, compete, allow Kenny Pickett to develop, and then hand the car keys off to him when he's ready to take it.
No, absolutely. And, you talk about the Steelers organization and being a big fan of theirs. Coach Mike Tomlin builds an awesome culture. I mean, Mr. Rooney from the top down, Kevin Colbert, and then Tomlin running the day-to-day show. It's just impressive. It's a great environment and culture to be a part of. They let players develop into the players and people that they can become. And so for Kenny Pickett, even though he's a guy that could maybe tend to hold on to the ball too long in the pocket, Tomlin's been used to that in Big Ben. So there's some similarities there that Tomlin's been through it before. Now he gets to work with a young quarterback in Kenny Pickett. They have some veterans with Mason Rudolph and Mitchell Trubisky, on the roster, because it's a tough spot for Trubisky. He plays. The Steeler fans are just ecstatic to just get a taste of Kenny Pickett and what he can bring in Pittsburgh because he played at Pitt. He was already there. They've already been a fan of his. So I don't know how long he'll sit on the bench, but this guy's a competitor. I think it worked perfectly for them, and I'm excited to see how it unfolds.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.